June 8th, the Philbrook Museum was host to the Tribal Film Festival. Headlining the event was a sneak peek at the new series Blackwater. Mvskoke Vision spoke with Native American director Boise Esquerra about the series.
So I'm screening Blackwater tonight, and that's a story about a native country singer who is sentenced to 180 days of wellness therapy after 10 years of reckless alcoholism. That came about through a class I had in NYFA, which is the New York Film Academy, in a class called Transmedia. And it was with that class that, I wanted to tell a story that was loosely based off some of the experiences I had. When I was 15 and all the way till I was 33 years old, I battled with drug addiction and alcoholism. And so I don't know if it was just me waiting, but I wanted to really wait until I started honing in on my craft to do a project like this, because I've always wanted to do something that was native-based, a native talent, native written, native everything. But I didn't want to stereotype it. I didn't want it to make it, I wanted it just to be something that's just as good as what's out there right now. And to me, that was it is the most important aspect of filmmaking to me, because otherwise, I don't think we'll get a fair shake. I mean, if it's anything else. So Blackwater is sort of my breaking into that vision and my goal in life, to do films set in that. Well, I mean, I'm Native American to begin with, so I don't really, because regardless of what I make, it's going to be made from a Native American. But I try not to really encapsulate it. I just try to work organically, creatively, from what I know. Personally, I know that a lot of Native Americans who work in creative fields as mine, they don't necessarily all grow up on a reservation. They don't necessarily all have the same stories, but I do pull from the sense of where I'm at sort of in the world in this time and stuff. So I have family that lives on the reservation. Both sides of my family were born and raised on the reservation. I was actually born in Phoenix. I was the only one out of 3 brothers that got to live and grow up in the city. And I would periodically come back and always visit family, and I even lived on the reservation for a while. So I know that culture and I know that life. I know my family's roots and their values and such and stories. I mean, I've been in film school. In 2011, I had kind of found my calling, and my tribe ended up sending me to get my BA in digital film and video production in Phoenix. And then I went off to Burbank in California at the New York Film Academy to get my MFA in filmmaking. So that was about a total of 6 years in school. And through that time I was just kind of, learning at the time and doing many short film projects and such like that. It wasn't until 2017 I actually started polishing up on, my craft, and I made a short thesis film called Cowboy, and that ended up garnering a lot of awards. One in particular was I won Best Director at the LA Skins Fest in Hollywood, which is probably the up-and-coming biggest Native American festival in Los Angeles area now. And we also garnered talent. His name is Tony Amendola, who starred in it. And then it just kind of took off from there. So it screened in a lot of festivals all across the U.S. and even one, I think, overseas. And then I'm also still in school as I talk right now. I'm getting my MFA in screenwriting as well. Well, the tribe's always been helping me out. The tribe helped me get to where I'm at today, and they're still helping me. The best way I could put it is that, they push us to go and be an example for the rest of the community on the reservation, and so that we can come back and give back to the community, and, you know, raise inspiration for the youth, for everybody, you know. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm out in the world striving to do the best I can in this field, and they support me, you know, 100%. I love my tribe to death. I couldn't be more thankful, you know, for all the help they've given me. So I think it's that kind of message that, you know, that needs to be spread through other reservations, through other, you know, areas of the United States with indigenous communities and such. If you haven't liked us on Facebook yet, go to Blackwater the Series on Facebook, Blackwater the Series on Instagram. Check it out. There's some trailers floating around on those pages, and yeah.
Also in attendance at the festival was Marcus LaVoi, who plays Big Frank Yazzie in the hit Netflix series Chambers.
Well, I was born and raised on White Earth Reservation, Minnesota, the Chippewa Nation, and my parents divorced at a young age, so I went with my mother to California. Lost complete ties with my heritage, my culture. Married later on in life. My wife, 1 year from my birthday, contacted a private investigator and actually found my family back on the reservation. My dad, and I have a brother and 2 sisters back there, and I was reunited with them, and we've been very close ever since. So having said all that, it's like I'm now learning my culture, learning my heritage, and being a part of new shows that are up and coming. I'm diving more into where I'm from and who I'm from, and it is such an honor to learn where your roots are and then be able to represent that in film and television. There's no greater honor. I mean, I think DNA plays a part in who we are and where we're from. I mean, at different races and different cultural backgrounds, I think, you know, are played out in who we are and how we act. But it is a true honor for me to finally find out where I'm from, and that gives me my roots, and that gives me my foundation that I can build upon, and now I'm going from there. My dad is also partakes in, he's tribal council, so he, you know, I'm learning more from him. Just, you know, I do a lot of research in it. You gotta be careful with some of the history books, as we all know, they're not portrayed correctly. So I kind of tend to want to stay away from history books who are written and told by white people, and that's not necessarily the true story. So I'm trying to be selective as to what I learn and how I learn it and where I process my information, and to take it with a grain of salt where I'm learning it from. I think to get to the nature of where we're from, we need to go to our ancestors. Well, let me first of all give my complete thanks and respect to Netflix for finally doing a show that's representing Native Americans in a positive light. For years, film and television has portrayed us shooting arrows into people riding around on horses being, as quote, the word savages. And I'm very proud to be a part of a project now that's portraying us as normal people living normal lives, and in our circumstances, or our situation caught up in extreme circumstances. And I give my gratitude to Netflix for even taking the chance on a show like this taboo thing of, is it gonna work, is it not? Yeah, it's gonna work. This is Native America, and we should be represented, we should have a voice, and we should have, our culture should be known. And we brought elders in on the show to make sure that things were done correctly, and yet they didn't ram it down anybody's throat. They kept it, the subtleties were the best part of it. The subtleties of our culture were the best part, showing that we have roots, and we know where we're established, and we have a voice. And Netflix did a great job. I'm so honored. Savon Rose, who plays my niece on the show, listen to this. This is the first time in the history of film and television that a Native American female has been given a lead in a TV show. Yeah. Groundbreaking. Yeah, so that's amazing. Well, I wanted to be careful that I didn't portray my history wrong or portray it wrong. So I was very selective in the things that I said or the projects that I took, because I don't want to be guilty of saying something that's not true. And like I said, it's important to tell our true story and not somebody else's story. So in that aspect, yeah, I wanted to be sure I was on track. So I found too that there was this whole dynamic of, well, what are you? You know, you could play Native American, you could play Caucasian, you could play Italian, you know, you could play, there were so many different things. And because my hair was shorter, I had facial hair, then, well, you don't look Indian. Well, I am Indian, so I don't even understand what that means. So I don't have long hair, and, you know, darker skin and no hair on my face, then you don't understand our culture then. And these are stereotypes that I believe have been put forth in the wrong context. And if you have Native blood in you, you are a Native. And you should be proud of that, and we should explore more into our history and our upbringing and where we're from. This is Native American. There's not one day that recognizes Native Americans. Everybody else has a day. We don't have a day. They're trying to give us some hand-me-down day called the Thanksgiving, and they're trying to name it Indigenous Peoples Day. This is Native America. We need a day to represent our people. I want to represent our people in a positive light. I want to have a voice, and I want our people to be recognized.
For more information on the Tribal Film Festival, go to tribalfilmfestival.org.